Saitis, this paper deals with autoimmune thyroiditis, the most common autoimmune disease of man. It affects about 5% of the population. It is the most common cause of dysfunction or hypofunction of the thyroid, which can lead to devastating signs and symptoms. Tell me, how are you exploring this disease in this paper?
We did a genome-wide association study on autoimmune thyroid disease, comparing over 30,000 patients to 725,000 controls from Iceland and from the United Kingdom, from UK Biobank. And we looked at both common and rare variants, over 42 million variants in the genome. And we found 99 sequence variants associated with this disease, and only 15 of those were actually known before, and we confirmed those. So 84 were novel. And out of those, one was particularly interesting for several reasons. It's in the FLAT3 gene. And this low-frequency variant, it increased the risk of autoimmune thyroid disease by 46%. And because autoimmune diseases have quite a lot in common, we also looked at this variant in other autoimmune diseases and found that it increased the risk of those even more, some of those. That it increased the risk of systemic lupus erythematosus by 90%, and also the risk of rheumatoid arthritis and celiac disease. All these diseases are characterized by autoantibodies, and they are more common in women. And patients with these chronic diseases often have autoimmune thyroid disease as well. We know quite a lot about the FLAT3 receptor, which is the product of this gene, because it is known that somatic mutations in it are present in about 1/3 of patients with blood cancer called acute myeloid leukemia. And therefore, we wanted to see whether this germline variant in FLAT3, meaning that we are born with the variant and it's not something that develops during the disease course like in AML, we wanted to see whether that also associated with acute myeloid leukemia. And then we actually found that it almost doubled the risk of that disease, but not of cancer overall.
So now you have found a large number of variants in the germline genome that affect the risk of autoimmune thyroiditis, and in particular you have focused on one of them, the one in the FLAT3 gene. And in addition to having the somatic mutation, activating mutation that associate with acute myelogenous leukemia, the variants in this FLAT3 gene also affect the number of inflammatory cells that you find in blood. But how do you go from variant in the genome and a clinical phenotype? How do you bridge the gap between these two?
Then we use omics in a stepwise sequential manner. We first looked at the transcriptome based on around 15,000 Icelanders, where we look at the effect of this variant on this transcriptome. And what we found is that this variant actually introduces a cryptic splice site in the transcript, so it becomes shorter in about 1/3 of cases. And this leads to a shorter protein product. So the FLAT3 receptor, which is on the cell surface of blood cells and immune cells, it lacks the kinase domain, meaning that the part that mediates the signal of this receptor is lacking.
Yeah,
so,
now you're confusing me a bit, because we know that an activating somatic mutation in the FLAT3 gene increases the risk of acute myelogenous leukemia. And now you have a loss of function mutation in the same gene that has the same effect. Please explain.
Yeah. There, the proteome-wide study we made on almost 5,000 Icelanders helped us understand, because it turned out that this variant affects several proteins in the body, but particularly the ligand of this FLAT3 receptor called FLAT3 ligand, because those who carry this mutation had almost double the level of this FLAT3 ligand in blood. So it seems that this loss of function mutation leads to an overcompensation, and much more of the ligand. And we know that this FLT3 ligand seems from animal studies and human studies that have been done before, can have an effect in the pathogenesis of, for example, rheumatoid arthritis. So the puzzles linked together show that this loss of function mutation seems to have a pathobiological consequence that is akin of a gain of function mutation.
So basically what you have done is that you have done genome-wide association for the existence of both common and rare sequence variants that affect the risk of autoimmune thyroiditis. You have subsequently shown that the most interesting of these variants, that is intronic variant in the FLT3 gene, introduces a cryptic splice site that leads to a formation of a truncated variant of the FLT3 receptor, missing the tyrosine kinase domain. And subsequently you've shown that the variant increases, almost doubles the level of the ligand for this receptor, leading to something that looks like a gain of function mutation rather than a loss of function mutation. So in a way you have shown, I think in a very elegant way, the power that comes with using a combination of genomics, transcriptomics and proteomics, which I think is giving us a fascinating power to gain insight into pathogenesis of various diseases.